Hi guys, I'd like to firstly start off by saying I'm sorry about the lighting. It is quite poor up in a spare room and I am working on it. But anyway, we're just going to continue with this review. This is a LEAGOO, that's how I'm going to pronounce it, a LEAGOO smartphone, which came from a Amazon seller in the UK. This is actually produced in China. Don't let that put you off. This is an awesome little phone. I have had a look at this. It arrived this morning and I've been playing on it for about 2 hours now. And yeah, I'll just go in and open it up. A few specs on this phone before I get started. I think it's quite handy to notice. It has a 4.5 inch screen, an IPS display. It outputs 1.0 gigahertz on a dual core processor. The rear camera is 5 megapixels. And it also has a front facing camera too. I'll just show you that here. So this is the rear facing camera. Don't worry about that. We'll get to that in a moment. And this here is the front facing camera. Okay, it has 4 gigabytes internal memory, which is good. And a 1600 milliamp hour battery. So it's going to last as good as any other phone on the market currently. Now, before you get started with this device, you do actually have to access the back. And I know we're quite familiar with what phone this looks like, but I'm not here to get into any of that. This is just going to be a true review of this actual phone. So you just pull that off. And it says, please open the back cover and remove the insulation paste from the battery before use. Now, I didn't know what that meant. It was actually just a sticker. A sticker that you'd sort of expect to see. A sticker that you'd sort of expect to see on the back of any electronic device, which just separates the circuit so that the battery doesn't drain. It also has a dual SIM card setup, which I've never seen before. So this will actually take 2 SIM cards. For what reason that is, I have absolutely no idea, but it's quite unusual. So we'll just pop that back on there. Just hold this button to turn on the phone. So yeah, it took about 25 seconds to get that on. Obviously it says no SIM card detected. There isn't currently a SIM inside this phone. However, I can still show you its features. So it's actually quite responsive for the price, which I'm going to reveal at the end of this video. It's surprisingly affordable. So we haven't actually got a menu that we would click to open. The menu is actually the 4 screens that you would slide through. Just take this screen protector off here. So we have flashlight, which is built in. So you just tap that. And then you're into the flashlight. So you just, that's it, that's the flashlight on. And then you have different settings that you just swipe through here. This is all built in. Generally you'd have to go and find an app, but it's quite nice to see that that's actually built into the phone. Little ad popping up there. We also have a built-in radio for this phone, which is quite a nice feature. You do actually have to plug in headphones, which we're going to get to in a moment. So I'll just back out of this one. So we have the usual Play Store, videos, voice search. This does actually have voice recognition as well, which is pretty nice. And this is a pretty cool feature as well. So this is like a record here. And if you just tap the logo, it would take you into the music. So that is your actual music library. That is how you would load it. But if you didn't want to open it up, you just drag the needle to the record. So yeah, I like that. I've never seen that before on a phone as standard. It's quite a nice feature. And then obviously back to the home screen. It's quite a nice feature. And then obviously back to the home screen. Let's just put this to one side for a moment and just see what else is in the box. It is actually really nicely packaged. So this one here says a USB cable, and as you can see there is nothing in there. I don't know why you would need a USB cable box and an actual battery charger box. The USB cable is actually inside this box. That's obviously to charge up the phone. and the plug that goes into, they did actually include, but that came separate in the same box, but in a separate box. Obviously they want to keep packaging down to a minimum so that it all fits in nicely. And in this little package here, you get headphones, and these headphones actually act as your antenna for your radio, and they have a nice little button here just to answer or end a call. You also get a little cleaning cloth, obviously, so you can clean the screen on your phone, easy SMX. And you get a little folder which contains the user manual, which is actually really simple. I was surprised. So this card here is just a warranty card if you want to send off for your warranty, which is good for 12 months. And this is your little booklet, obviously, of how it works. And it is really, really simple. I was actually really surprised considering this comes from like China, Hong Kong kind of area. But it is plain English. It is really, really simple. How to use everything from camera to video calling, FM radio, theme, music. It is just really simple. And obviously now we're into other languages. That is as simple as it gets. What is it, 2-3 pages worth of information? But that is literally all you need to know. The charging port is actually located on the top of the phone, along with the AUX lead. So if you wanted to plug in your headphones for radio, it is quite tight, but it does go in. You can then use your headphone lead as an antenna for the radio, which is quite nice. And obviously your USB for charging up the phone. Now, what would I rate this phone out of 10? Well, on performance, I would give it a 10 out of 10, as it is just as responsive as my £300 phone that I'm currently using to record this review on. The price of this phone is less than £50. I was going to leave it to the end of the video, but I'm still a little bit surprised that you can get a brand new smartphone as good as this for less than £50, brand new on Amazon from a UK seller. This actually took less than 48 hours to arrive from when I placed my order to when it was actually at the front door of my house. Now that's actually surprising. Now the manual, as you saw, is absolutely plain English. This phone actually comes set up English, ready to use, language, UK, British, however you would say it. So it is actually set up for the UK market, despite the fact that this phone is actually made in China. Now, a lot of phones are made in China. A lot of phones are also produced in China. I mean, if you want to take, for example, motorcycles, as I was growing up, I was always told to avoid Chinese motorcycles as they can be very unreliable. So I went and bought myself a £5,000 brand new Yamaha YZF R125 from a motorcycle shop. And I was actually really surprised to see that they were selling Chinese motorcycles. And when I inquired, I said, like, I was told to avoid these for the majority of my, youth. He told me that, to be honest, Yamaha, Honda, etc. are all actually put together in China. Despite the fact they're made and produced elsewhere, the final process of the assembly line is actually in China. And he also informed me that the majority of phones are actually also assembled in China. So don't let the fact that it's from China put you off. It's not necessarily a negative thing. The build quality of this device is just as good as my Samsung. And again, that cost in excess of £300. This phone cost less than £50. Bear that in mind. Obviously, the camera quality is not going to be as good as, I say, iPhone or Samsung Galaxy. It says it's 5 megapixels, but for example, I will just show you a photo that I took about 5 minutes ago. Now, this is the photo that I took. That's not my phone unable to pick that up. That is the actual quality of the phone, of the camera. I fail to believe that this is 5 megapixels. Again, guys, this is not my phone being unable to pick this up. This is actually the camera quality. I'm just holding that up just so you can see. And again, if I show you a photo that I took up close, yeah, it's the same logo, guys. It's the same. Now, my phone wouldn't have any trouble picking up them words, but this phone obviously struggled. Yeah, guys, camera quality is a little bit sucky. I would give it a 7 out of 10. I mean, it works if you needed it in an emergency, for example. If you needed to quickly document something, then you could, but it's not necessarily a phone that you would want to put on the end of a selfie stick and take family portraits with. Nevertheless, it does have a camera, so if you wanted to do voice calls, you could. If you wanted to flip the camera to the front so you can get you and your friend or whoever in, then that's not a problem at all. It will work. It just, the quality is a little bit poor. Settings, it has the same settings as the Samsung. I mean, it's got everything you would need. It's even the same sort of layout. You can even pull the top bar down, and I'm pretty sure you can see, guys, how responsive this phone actually is. So we have all the same usual settings that you'll probably have in your phone that you currently have. This isn't like a budget phone at all, like I thought it would be. With a price tag of less than £50, I didn't actually think it would work that well at all. So yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised. I'm just flicking through the settings here. I'm still trying to familiarise myself with this phone. But like I say, guys, I would give this phone a 9 out of 10 on performance. I'd literally deduct 1 point for the camera quality, just due to the fact that I don't actually believe it's 5 megapixels on the rear and 2 on the front. I believe it's a little bit less than that. I have a drone that has a 0.3 megapixel camera, and it's actually a little bit better than this. So I would personally say that the back rear camera was maybe 2 at most megapixels, or the software that's currently running that camera isn't actually capable of producing 5 megapixels, which would explain the grainy image. But as far as the phone goes, guys, I am, relatively surprised. There's nothing on the base of it apart from this little thing here that is designed to get a nail or a penny or something in, just to flip the back off. It's all plastic. It's a nice plastic, and I say it's all plastic. It does actually have a ring of metal all the way around the edge of it. But yeah, overall, a nice phone, a nice light phone. It does work well. I have charged it up. Everything works on there. You get the plug. A nice responsive phone that's in date. No one's going to think that you can't afford a second. If you did actually want a second phone and you didn't want to spend £200, I definitely would recommend, now that I've had one of these and I've had it in my hand and I've played around with it a little bit, I definitely recommend, if you did actually want a second phone, don't spend £200-300 if it's just going to be a spare. Literally just get yourself on Amazon and just get yourself a Lead 6, because they are actually pretty good as a spare phone, not necessarily as a main phone. I mean, if you didn't have the money to get the latest phone, then by all means, this phone will do. But if you did just want a spare phone, definitely I would recommend this. It's an awesome little phone, very responsive, touch responsive. Yeah. So that's the review of the Lead 6 LEAGOO phone, or LEGO phone. An awesome little device. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll get to see you again soon. Cheers.